So, good morning, Standard 10 students. Now, yesterday, on the previous video, I had explained about what the little match girl had experienced when she lit the first match. Now, she was feeling very, very cold, and she was imagining, I wish I could be sitting in front of a stove or in front of a bonfire, okay, and keep myself warm. Now, this is what is experienced on the 31st of December. People have bonfires, they burn some effigies or they burn Guy Fawkes, okay, and they laugh and dance and they sing and they make themselves very happy because the old year has come to an end and will be gone, and they were welcoming the new year. So they were preparing. So the food that they prepare on these occasions is a roast goose. Now it is a delicacy in the Western culture. They make it a point that on New Year's Day they should have a roast goose. Okay. Now the logic behind having a roast goose in the Western countries that they believe that once in a year you must have a roasted duck or a roast goose because it helps to melt the stones that are found in the kidneys or in the gallbladder. Okay. So it is very helpful and it also keeps the body warm. Okay. So that is why the girl imagined, I wish I could have also a roast goose like these rich people are having. Now remember, she is a poor, miserable girl. Only when she sells the matches, then she collects some money and then she will take the money home. Then her father will buy some food and then they would have. By her not selling any matches means that she is going to starve in the evening. She's going to get a beating and then she will have to sleep hungry. So that is why she imagined the roast goose. So when she lit the second match, it burned clearly, and where the light fell upon the wall, the bricks became transparent. Transparent means you can see through and through a glass. Like gauze, she could see right into the room where a shining white cloth was spread on the table. It was covered with beautiful china, and in the center of it stood a roast goose stuffed with prunes and apples, steaming deliciously. And what was even more wonderful was that the goose hopped down from the dish, waddled across the floor with carving knife and fork in its back, waddled straight up to the poor child. Now that was very strange, like as if the roast goose came back to life, jumped off the table, waddled, you know how they walk, the ducks walk, okay, and with the knife and fork still stuck at its back. It was steaming and it was waddling towards the girl. Now, what was the purpose of it going towards the girl? Was that the girl should poke its back, cut a piece of its flesh, and eat it. But as soon as it reached her, where she was about to cut clip and eat, that light went off. When the lights went off, the goose disappeared. The front, the house which had this dining table, all vanished. The brick wall that had become transparent, that was vanished. And now again she was back between those two walls. So now that was the vision she had experienced when she lit the second match. Remember, she was thinking about how the rich people will be eating that roast goose, and how their dining table will be decorated with china plates, and for a festival how people decorate the dining table. So all that came into her vision, and this is what she experienced when she lit the second match. Then out went the match, and nothing could be seen but the black, thick, cold wall. So when the lights went off, when the match went off, everything became dark. That means everything disappeared or vanished. Then she found herself sitting between the two houses. She struck another match, and suddenly she was sitting under the most beautiful Christmas tree. Now, the third match, when she lit the third match, where did she find herself? Like magic. I told you the flame was like magic. As soon as she lights a match, she finds herself in a different world. And then she finds herself, like how you have a story, Alice in Wonderland. It is something similar to that. And then when she sees a huge Christmas tree, it was much larger and much lovelier than the one she had seen last year through the glass doors of the rich merchant's house. So now she was comparing the Christmas tree that she was sitting under was compared to a Christmas tree which she had seen last year in rich merchant, I mean a businessman, a rich man's house. He also had a huge Christmas tree. But this one was much larger and lovelier, means it was decorated very well. 1,000 candles lit up the green branches. So there were thousands of candles that were lit on the branches of the Christmas tree. And gaily colored balls, like those in the shop windows, looked down upon her. Like as if they were staring at her. So she was experiencing sitting under a huge, gigantic Christmas tree, very well decorated, and thousands of candles were lit, and those colored balls were looking down at her. The little girl reached forward with both hands. Now you see, little children, when they see something very attractive, they want to touch. So she also raised her little hands to touch those colorful balls, or touch the Christmas tree to feel good. And we elders, we tell them, oh, no, 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 don't touch, don't touch. Like you only see, it's only for your eyes. But this is the feeling of a child. When a child looks at something, he would like to touch it, to enjoy that. And we elders think negatively, we think that the child is going to destroy it. Children are destructive, no doubt. But this is the feeling. She wanted to touch those colorful balls, and make herself feel happy. Then out went the match. As she was about to touch something, the match went off. The many candles on the Christmas tree rose higher and higher through the air. And she saw that they had now turned into bright stars. One of them fell, streaking the sky with light. Now, as soon as she raised her hands to touch those balls, the match went off. But she could see the lighted candles. They were rising up, ascending into the sky. They were rising up towards the sky. And as they were going higher and higher, they were turning into bright stars. Okay. And then suddenly, one of the stars fell on the earth, was falling. So we call it either a shooting star or a meteorite or a falling star. So when the girl seen that, she remembers what her grandmother had said when she was alive. She says, "Oh my God, somebody is going to die today." That means it was a belief that if a star falls, then one's soul goes up. So she remembers this because this was told by her grandmother. And her grandmother was very fond of her. She loved this girl too much. But unfortunately, the grandmother had died. But she still remembers what her grandmother had told her about this belief that if a star falls from the skies or from heaven, it means that somebody is going to die and his or her soul is going to ascend into heaven, means to go up to heaven to God. Now I'll keep it till here, and in the next video class, I'll explain the fourth matchsticks and the rest of the story. Thank you.